Oh my God. Welcome everybody back to the RMP. I hope you're having a lovely fucking day. A great, big, fantastic, lovely day. It's amazing how easily we can separate ourselves just based off ideas. And the world is so fucking complex that our beliefs and our biases and our experiences can so easily separate us. And there's the thing that I want to say about that is that growth isn't as linear as we think. Growth isn't just being open-minded. It also means that as perspectives broaden, we help solidify the things that we believe are true. And to broaden our minds, to keep our minds open, that also means disagreeing with things. It doesn't mean that in our wisdom we accept everything that is. It doesn't mean that we should accept things that we think are nonsensical. It doesn't mean we should accept things that we think are outside the boundary of reality, whatever that may mean to us. And the biggest thing to me, the biggest thing to me is that once people become hostile, I will become defensive and protective of my position. I think that I want to love everyone for who they are. I want to love people for the choices that they make. If it's not hurting anybody else and if it's not censoring anybody else. And it's crazy the all the stuff based around gender where we're basically throwing on the spreadsheet another 70 genders that don't actually exist, because the only two genders that have existed forever are male and female. And I know that there's intersex, which would mean that both sets of genitals would exist at birth. I mean, that's also biology. I think everything now is subjectivity. I think that people are wanting to create something so they feel special. They may be carrying on a high chair tyrant kind of immaturity to get what they want, and it's the behavior that I think is wrong. I don't think the ideas are wrong. I don't think us being progressive is wrong. If there would be a way to solidify what these new genders were, I'd be open to accepting them as they are. But I just don't see where science has created more than the two sexes. And I honestly, I really deeply, truthfully think that the creation of all the new gender identities and the being a they or them, or being an it, z or them, it's not based in biology. I just don't know where it comes from. I don't know where the idea comes from. And to me, it's just the reach to be something special. And we can all be something special, except people are trying to take what is fantasy, because we can fantasize about anything. It's amazing what the mind will create. I mean, look at the games that we have, look at the technology that we have. We've created a lot of things, but we've used an imagination to bring them into reality. That doesn't, I mean, before imagination, it's just subjective. It's just art. It's just a dream. We bring things into reality, right? We make them objective. And the thing that bothers me is I'm just so worried that people are trying to dismantle a foundation that we hold on to maintain a grounding, to help us understand what we are. I think when we try to dissolve that, same thing as in like canceling history. Once you cancel history, you no longer have anything to learn from. And so it's the fantasy that bothers me. If somebody can imagine these things and then somehow bring them into scientific fact, into biological fact, into objective truth, it would make more sense. And like I said, if people have these ideas and they're not hostile and they're expressing themselves as this thing, even if they don't understand it. Now I'm starting to get a little shady in the center there, but then I'll listen. But everything now is just about, it's just entitled, and it's ignorant or arrogant. It's immature. It's the hypocrisy of trying to get to be accepted, but no longer accepting the history of what was. It's wanting to also dissolve what exists for the sake of what you want to create. And I don't think that's how the world works. I think that the things that we abolish are the violent things, the negative things, the abusive things, the censored things. To do humanity or to do other people or individuals disservice, that's what we want to dissolve, I guess. But objective truths, what reality is, I don't think that that's actually allowed. I don't think it should be allowed. But it's such a complex subject, and I don't think I have the brain to quite tackle all of it by myself. And I think the big thing is that if anyone is actually listening to this, then what I'd want people to understand is that I love people as they are. If they want to, and God, it's like as soon as I say something, then people automatically build up a defense. But I love people that are gay, lesbian, queer, transgender, intersex. Like, if you have gender dysphoria, I believe that is real. I believe that people actually have issues as they're growing up about being confused about who they are and what body they're in. That seems like it's very real. It can be very real to people. I think it's a minority of people. I don't think it's most people. But I love everybody that wants to stand as they are. I just don't think that we get to create new sexes. I don't think that we get to create new genders. And I don't know why that's so hard. I just don't know why that's so hard to maintain as a foundation. I'm not saying that you may not feel like you're something else, but I don't know what that other thing is. It just doesn't seem like anything else described can be scientifically or biologically based. So what's to keep me from, calling you a cat just because you want to? What's keeping me from saying that you're an alien from another world? It's the foundation of us saying that we are humans, and the humans procreate through male and female. And that doesn't mean that I say male and female are the only way that things are supposed to work. Like, I'm not religious. I'm not all about only men and women are allowed to get married. Only men and women are okay to have sex. Like, that's not what I mean at all. I mean, the biological fact is that procreation takes the womb, and it takes the sperm, the ovary, like, it takes all of that to create a baby, and that comes from two separate sexes. And I think the only reason I'm saying this is because I had a very lengthy text message discussion on me not accepting 70-something other genders. It doesn't make sense to me. I just don't know where the truth of those genders comes into play. So I guess this is just a rant, but I'd really like to know what you guys think. The big thing is I would caution people to discuss these things only with your emotions, only by your behavior, because behavior is the big key on whether we can compromise and understand one another. And that's very, very hard to do these days. I don't know why that we can't have the whole idea of conservative and liberal was to find truth and to find new perspective and to see where reality and objectivity are the most true, if that makes sense. And we just don't do that anymore. And so everything's an argument. And I think that, after I've researched and read so much and experienced so much with the so-called toxicity of the masculine and of men, it really comes down to, and it's not just men now, it comes down to a lot of people being immature adults now. We're basically responsible children, and that's where most people are at. And I think people think that they have knowledge when they don't, just because the internet exists. I don't think that that's actually wisdom. And full disclosure, this is me coming out and giving my honest opinions that I've had for a while now. And I always tried to cover them up or smooth them out in a way that is accepting of all people. But that literally gets me nowhere. It forcibly keeps me in a position of neutrality. It doesn't help me grow. And I have to be able to be abrasive with other people. Not violently, of course, not volatilely, of course, but to maintain my identity and to maintain my beliefs and my character and what I decide to do with my life. I think that's all very important. People are very carried away with the emotions and violence of things, and we need to have far better discussions. And I think this gender thing has a lot further to go. The question is, how will it go? And will both sides, it shouldn't even be two sides, it should be a spectrum of things. Where will people learn to learn from each other? So I don't know what your opinion is. I don't know where you stand. I know where I stand, and I can't say no to that anymore. But this is part of being a rebel-minded individual. This is part of being an individual, is to be able to have discussions without hostility and without trying to think that we have to put people in their place, but also calling out what we think is ridiculous. And I think 70 genders is ridiculous. I don't think it's possible. I haven't seen any proof of how it could be. And I think it's ridiculous that people, in their idea of progressive, liberal, all-encompassing, loving ideas, they also try to dismantle and dissolve what does exist, what currently exists, what we've followed for thousands of years now, and try to delete history, delete science and biology. It just doesn't make sense. So until I can be convinced otherwise, I guess, it's the same as me not believing in God. But I guess the big part of this is we shouldn't try to be people-pleasing everybody. I think it puts a huge strain on your soul. I think it makes you lie to yourself about your own character and suppresses your own beliefs. So that's part of what it means to question the fuck out of everything and to be your own person. But that's what we want to do here, is be strong, majorly strong individuals that have good goddamn conversations. Until next time, this is your host, Zach, out.